Hey, what's up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson. I got a little prediction segment on the David Haye Wladimir Klitschko fight that's happening June 20th. It was going to take place in London. Now I'm here in Germany. It sounds like Germany. I've even heard the Ukraine, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Germany. And I also have some news. Before I get into anything, I'd just like to thank all my subscribers. I'd like to thank anybody that's watched any of my videos. Basically, I've been around for about a month. This last Saturday marked my month anniversary. My first show was the Marquez Diaz. I had a box score on that. I did make a video or two just kind of on some news articles before that, but that basically was my first show, so thanks a lot. Let's get right into it. Okay. News. Let's talk about Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley is waiting for Pacquiao-Hatton winner. He's waiting for Cotto at some point down the line. I think he's making a mistake here. Pacquiao's not going to fight him because I don't think they'll put Pacquiao in the ring with someone that has really fast hands and power. And he's talking about Cotto, talking about Pacquiao, or no, I'm sorry. That's the next thing I was going to talk about. But Mosley, I can see him not fighting Berto. I can see him not fighting Quintano, or I can see him not fighting Collazo. Well, he already fought Collazo. I can see him not fighting a young or a guy that's just okay or pretty solid, you know, but not well-known or, you know, a threat of losing. I could see that. But when you say Paul Williams, the Punisher Paul Williams, that you don't want to fight him, to me, that's kind of like ducking. You know, and considering you're saying Floyd's ducking you, and we all know that Shane ducked Floyd for years, from 2002, 2003 to 2006, he ducked him. That was just because Floyd didn't bring any money to the table. I'm not saying he's afraid. It just, you know, I love watching Shane Mosley. He's coming off his best career fight. And, you know, the thing is, you've been on free HBO 2 times in a row. You haven't fought a pay-per-view since Cotto. So when you talk about big fights, Paul Williams is a big fight and would get a solid rating on HBO and is a fight that boxing fans want to see. So I think he is ducking him a little bit. That's kind of BS. Let me know what you guys think about that. And then this is what I was going to talk about. Bob Arum's saying he wants Pacquiao to fight Chavez Jr. right now. I think it's BS. I think he's just promoting fights, just kind of throwing it out there. But he's really against, or at least in the media, he's against Floyd and Pacquiao fighting, and we all know Freddie Roach already said that it'd be a boring mix of styles. Leave a comment. I want to know what you guys think. Obviously, it's probably more mind games like they played about a couple of weeks ago, saying they don't want to fight Floyd. It's funny how they'll put Pacquiao in the ring with Cotto next, or at least they want to if Cotto beats Clottey, but they haven't saying about if Clottey beats Cotto. It's kind of funny. Anyway, just want to see what you guys think about that. And speaking of Freddie Roach, while we're on the topic, he's trying to get Joe Cortez for the Pacquiao-Hatton fight. Cortez is known to not like the inside holding too much. A lot of people got down on him in the Pacquiao, or on the Hatton-Floyd fight, and for good measure. He was way too involved too early. But it did work because it turned into an inside fight pretty much the rest of the fight after that, without as much just clinching and wrestling. Because you got to admit, those first 3 rounds were basically wrestling. So he had to say something. It's just he was jumping in there too early. But Freddie Roach being the genius, he's trying to get Cortez, or Nady, what's his name? Jay Nady. He's trying to get him, and he's supposed to be a strict ref as well. Anyway, that's just, Roach being Roach. He's a genius at trying to get people to come down to weight. Like he's trying to get Floyd, I heard, to get down to 143 or 144. Obviously, we know what he did with Oscar. Just leave a comment, see what you think about that. Let's get right into this prediction, though. We got Wladimir Klitschko versus David Haye. Let's talk about Wladimir first. Now, he's a guy that's improved. He's obviously become a lot more conservative and very patient, but it's more conservative. I think he's afraid to get hit, really hard, or not necessarily get hit. He's not afraid, but he's afraid to, get in a brawl, a full-out brawl, because when he has, or even when he hasn't, he's gotten knocked down. He has 3 losses, has over 50 wins. He's fought, as far as the heavyweight division goes, it's not a deep division, but he's fought over the years a lot of people, so you got to give him credit for that. He's got, you know, him and his brother have that same style. They just slowly break you down. Obviously, Vitaly has his hands down and just kind of slugs, whereas Wladimir keeps the hands up and just stands behind the jab. He's like this, you know, the robot. People call it the robot or the Frankenstein, whatever. And it is boring. It is boring, and ever since he has gotten knocked out, that's the thing that gets me, man. He has 3 losses, and they're all knockouts, getting knocked out. So that's the thing that kind of scares me. And I've always said, once I heard David Haye was either going to fight Wladimir or Vitaly, I always thought, right out, you know, just first thought, when I heard it, I thought, okay, Haye would lose to Vitaly, and Haye would beat Wladimir, okay? He's not good at defense. The only reason why he's okay is because he does use his height and his reach, and he uses that long, solid jab. It's probably the best jab in the business because he knocks people out with it sometimes, or makes them quit in their stool, messes up their face. It's a great jab. I'll give him that. But he doesn't defend himself, and he will be going in there with a guy that can punch. David Haye is the same thing. He keeps his hands down, kind of does that one-hand thing, and someone's over there. Don't worry about that. He does that one-hand up thing. The only problem is he's not rolling the shoulder. He's not doing the Floyd or the James Toney. So that bugs me. His hands are low. And when he lost, he got knocked the you-know-what out. So I do like David Haye, though. You know, he comes in shape. He's a big, strong dude. Good-looking guy, too. You know, you can't hate on that. He's exactly what the heavyweight division needs. To come from cruiserweight, you know, I think it's awesome. I know he's fought, I think, 2 or 3 times at heavyweight. He fought his last fight, Monty Barrett. He looked great, good, and then bad. Kind of all mixture of one, where you could see the power, you could see the speed, but you could see the lack of defense, and you could see his chin, you know. So, I don't know what to take from that. I know he's fought a couple of heavyweight fights, you know, in his past. I know he weighed in at like 206, and a guy weighed like in the 2-teens, 215, something like that, and he weighed in at like 208 in another fight. Or I know he's fought 2 heavyweight fights before he fought Barrett, but you got to give him credit, man. He's trying to make it exciting. If he wins, this would be great because, you know, he's the type of guy that could really spark up the heavyweight division. But like I said, he's got super hand speed, great hand speed for a big guy, great power. We know that, but the chin, man, and the defense, it's just not there. And he kind of gets too close to you. You know, he doesn't necessarily always, he's not as conservative as Klitschko. Sorry, someone's trying to say something to me. So, you know, even right now I want to say David Haye. Okay, I want him. I really want him. But being that Klitschko's got the reach, and he uses his reach. You know, he's going to use his height. He's got a great jab. I think it's going to be problematic for Haye coming in and trying to get punches off. I think it'll be an entertaining fight. Everyone says it's going to be a knockout. I believe that. I think it will be a knockout. Although there is a possibility it could go the distance. So I'm going to go, man, I'm even deciding right now. I'm going Klitschko. I'm going Wladimir Klitschko. But if there's a knockout within 6 or 7 rounds, it will be David Haye. Because if he gets into him and is able to get his shots off, that speed is going to give, and power obviously, will give Wladimir a lot of problems. I just don't think he's a good enough boxer, David Haye. I just don't think he's good enough, you know, with his skill set. I don't think he blocks enough shots, not enough head movement. You know what I mean? And when you're, I'm going with Wladimir, and I'm going to go with a KO 10 and on, and it might even go the distance. I know that sounds weird, and I just said it'll probably be a knockout, but I'm saying, this is kind of strange, 9 and 10 round and on, Klitschko. Before that, 8 and down, I'm going David Haye. Can I do that? That's kind of staying in between, but I'll pick Wladimir. Anyway, I'm going to have a box score for this, so look out for that in June 20th. Should be a great fight. Anyway, that was another not box score edition, prediction and news segment of the Rope and Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson. Peace.